Welcome to the Detroit Lions Morning Podcast, also available on YouTube. I'm Jimmy Liao, graduate of University of Michigan Medical School. So let's talk about coaches getting fined for not wearing their masks. John Gruden, Sean Payton, Kyle Shanahan, Vic Fangio, and Pete Carroll were fined this week $100,000 each for not wearing their mask enough on the sideline. The teams were fined $250,000. So let's talk about what is the purpose of the coaches wearing masks. Does it even matter? My opinion is that this is 99% optics, 1% medical reasoning. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the NFL prioritizing optics because it really does matter. But let's first talk about the medical issues. Number one, everybody is getting tested daily. All the players getting tested daily. All the coaches and staff are getting tested daily. None of the players are wearing masks. They're breathing hard. They're running around, exercising, panting, huffing and puffing, expectorating, sweating all over the place. The coaches aren't doing any of that. They're just standing on the sideline, not breathing that heavy. The players are far more likely to be aerosolizing COVID into the air than coaches. So the risk of a player exposing other people to COVID is much higher than a coach exposing everybody to COVID. Now, the daily testing does reduce the likelihood that anybody out there has COVID. However, those tests aren't perfect. There's a false negative rate, which potentially is pretty high, especially with the way the NFL is testing people by minimally inserting that swab into the nostril. Go ahead and check out episode 4 for more discussion of why you shouldn't totally trust the NFL COVID testing numbers. But everybody is getting tested daily, coaches and players. So the players are not wearing masks. The coaches have to wear masks. There's a little bit of a disconnect there. Another issue is these stadiums are open air places with a lot of ventilation. They're either outside stadiums or they're indoors with a huge amount of ventilation. So this significantly decreases the risk of any high concentration of COVID particles developing and forming in the air. So the actual risk of a coach not wearing masks and exposing other people to COVID is probably pretty low. At least it's minimal compared to how much the players are possibly spreading COVID around, not wearing masks and exercising a lot. So the main reason why the NFL is doing this, in my opinion, is optics. Now, Dr. Sills was interviewed recently and was directly asked the question, how come the coaches have to wear masks when everybody's already getting tested? His answer was first that this was what was agreed upon between the NFL and the NFLPA. So Dr. Sills doesn't even have the option or the authorization or the ability to change the rule. The second thing he mentioned was it does help reduce the risk of spreading COVID into the air. And I agree with him that, yes, ideally, if people are wearing masks on the sideline, it decreases the chance of aerosolization. But again, the amount of risk reduction there with the coaches wearing masks and the players not is minimal. So optics is 99% of the reason for all of this. And I fully support the NFL prioritizing optics. They've been prioritizing optics in many ways throughout this whole COVID season. Again, fully supported by me because the NFL takes a lot of criticism. They're the big monster out there as far as ratings and public image. So they take a lot of heat for a lot of things. So optics does matter. What the NFL doesn't want is a big public outcry about a lot of COVID cases, about a lot of players missing games, or head coaches not wearing masks and setting a bad example for the rest of the country. The NFL does not want to get shut down because there's a public outcry about COVID issues, because many people consider the NFL a non-essential activity. Although I would question that a little bit. Tell the people whose livelihoods are dependent on the NFL that it's a non-essential activity. And I'm not even talking about the players or coaches who might make millions of dollars. I'm talking about the staff, the trainers assistants, the equipment managers, the cleaning crew, etc. Those guys probably do view the NFL as an essential activity. So as far as optics, the head coaches are the ones that get the most airtime. They're on TV all the time, especially famous guys like John Gruden, Bill Belichick, those guys. So when these guys are on TV all the time, the NFL wants them to wear a mask to make it look good on TV. So fully support the NFL wanting the optics to look good here, but medically it probably doesn't matter much at all as far as spreading COVID. Thanks for watching. Leave ratings, reviews, subscribe, comments, disagreements. Find me on Twitter at Jimmy Liao MD. Thanks.